Good evening, and you're once again welcome to Snappy News with Ewura Esi, a news program designed to summarize issues that made headlines both locally and internationally during the week. Showing this and every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on my YouTube channel, Esi Uncensored. Now, the headlines. NDC has no difficulty sitting on the minority side in Parliament, says Haruna Idrisu. Rawlings to be buried at the military cemetery. Supreme Court grants John Mahamed's motion for amendment. Ghana Bar Association asks Muntaka to substantiate bribery allegation against the Supreme Court's judge or retract and apologize. Moving on to news making headlines on the international front, USA President Trump impeached again. Now let's get into the news. The leader of the National Democratic Congress Members of Parliament, Mr. Haruna Idrisu, says his side has no difficulty sitting on the left side of the Speaker in the chamber. Let me assure the Ghanaian people that the NDC's 137 MPs have no difficulty sitting to the left of the Speaker so long as our numerical strength is respected, and in the composition of committees and in the determination of leadership of committees, while we continue to pursue legitimate legal and constitutional processes to procure what we deserve as a majority party. Someone will say, what is on the left or what is on the right? We have no difficulty at all. But we think that given what we've shared with you, guided by apt constitutional provisions and evidenced by the fact that Formina MP is not joining the New Patriotic Party and cannot join the New Patriotic Party by the constitutional framework, Mr. Idrisu said at a press briefing in Parliament on Thursday afternoon. The independent MP for Formina, Andrew Esiama Amuako, has, however, officially written to the Speaker informing him that he will do business with the New Patriotic Party caucus in Parliament. In a letter dated 13th January 2021 and addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Amuako declared that he shall, for the purposes of transacting business in the House, associate with the NPP caucus in the 8th Parliament. The mortal remains of the late President Jerry John Rawlings, who died on Thursday, November 12, 2020, at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, will be interred at the military cemetery in Birmingham, Accra. At a press briefing in Accra on Wednesday, the Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Nkrumah, said the funeral activities for the late president will commence on Friday, January 22, 2021. Per the arrangements, the Anlo Traditional Council will hold a series of celebratory and traditional events in honor of Mr. Rawlings on Friday, January 22nd and Saturday, January 23rd in Anlo. On Sunday, January 24th, national activities will start with a Catholic Requiem Mass at Holy Spirit Cathedral in Accra, followed by a vigil at the Air Force Base at 6 p.m. On Monday, January 25th, the mortal remains of the late president will be laid in state at the Accra International Conference Center. According to Mr. Nkrumah, the filing past of the mortal remains of Mr. Rawlings on Monday will start with the heads of security agencies, leaders of political parties, and the public. On Tuesday, the filing past will resume at 9 a.m. and will be led by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Vice Presidents Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, former heads of state and heads of constitutional bodies. At 10 a.m., Parliament, led by Speaker Mr. Alban Bagbin, and former speakers will file past the body. At noon, the Chief Justice, Justices of the Supreme Court, and former Chief Justices will file past the body. At 1 p.m., former Chairman and members of Council of State, as well as former Ministers of State will file past, and then at 2 p.m., the Diplomatic Corps will file past. He said at 3 p.m., traditional and customary rites and celebrations will be held at the foyer of the AICC, while the body is still in state. On Wednesday, January 27th, the burial service for the late Rawlings will be held at the Black Star Square in Accra with full military honors led by the Ghana Armed Forces. He said The body will later be interred at the military cemetery at Burma Camp in Accra. The Supreme Court has granted a motion by former President John Dramani Mahama to amend his election petition, which is challenging the declaration of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. In the amendment, former President Mahama wants to change an inadvertent error in one of his reliefs, in which he referred to the Esi instead of President Akufo-Addo. Although lawyers for President Akufo-Addo and the Electoral Commission opposed the motion for amendment, a 7-member panel of the Apex Court, presided over by the Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Enini-Yeboah, held that the amendment does not affect the substance of the petition and therefore was granted. Apart from the Chief Justice, other members on the panel were Justices Yao Appeal, Samuel K. Mafo, Nene Amegache, Professor Ashikote, Mariama Ousu, and Getru Tokono. The hearing of the petition will continue on January 19, 2021 for the pre-trial. The Ghana Bar Association has called on the Member of Parliament for Asawase constituency, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, to substantiate his bribery allegations against the Supreme Court judge or retract and apologize to the justices of the Supreme Court and the judiciary in general. A statement by the GBA dated January 12, 2021 said the bar finds Muntaka's allegations offensive and distasteful. It added that such allegations incite hatred among the public with regard to the judges, expose them to ridicule, and put them into disrepute. For GBA, such allegations of bribery with respect to the judiciary undermine the integrity of the erode public confidence in the judiciary delivery system and may result in lawlessness. The Asawase legislature is reported to have alleged that a certain Supreme Court judge attempted to bribe a member of Parliament of the National Democratic Congress to vote for the immediate past Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Mike Okoye, against the candidate of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Alban Bagbin. For the GBA, even though the 1992 Constitution guarantees freedom of speech, the freedom should be exercised with circumspection and should not be used to incite hatred or to subject the judiciary to ridicule and contempt. USA's President Trump has been impeached again, making him the first president in US history to be impeached twice by the House. On Wednesday, Trump was charged with incitement of insurrection over the deadly mob siege of the Capitol in a swift and stunning collapse of his final days in office. With the Capitol secured by armed National Guard troops inside and out, the House voted 232 to 197 to impeach Trump. The proceedings moved at lightning speed, with lawmakers voting just 1 week after violent pro-Trump loyalists stormed the U.S. Capitol, egged on by the president's calls for them to fight like hell against the election results. 10 Republicans fled Trump, joining Democrats who said he needed to be held accountable and warned ominously of a clear and present danger if Congress should leave him unchecked before Democrat Joe Biden's inauguration on January 20th. It was the most bipartisan presidential impeachment in modern times, more so than against Bill Clinton's in 1998. That is the end of today's Snappy News with Ewura Esi. This is to remind you that COVID-19 is still wreaking havoc. Please wear a mask and adhere to all the safety precautionary measures. Seeing that we are not in normal times, please protect yourselves and your families. My name is Ewura Esi Adda. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.